If you don't protect what belongs to you, then sooner or later, it belongs to someone else.
First off, let's take a moment to marvel in the miracle that is Walking Dead's 10th season. This is huge for horror TV and zombie fans. A zombie show with copious amounts of gore that's become a massive pop cultural phenomenon.
That's awesome. Good on you. Putting the old stump to use.
The top two genre shows for a decade were The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. This series, however, unlike Thrones, doesn't seem to have an expiration date. It has no built-in resolution or ending, which is both good and bad. Good because it's not building towards anything that could possibly disappoint fans if all the puzzle pieces don't fit together quite right at the end. Bad because, well, it can just linger on beyond anyone's interest. The show is about characters living in this world, and that's it. Once the show ceases to have characters we care about, it'll fade into the ether. That being said, Walking Dead still has legacy characters to pull us into the drama. Danai Gurira is leaving this year, marking the third major character loss after Rick's presumed death and Maggie's mysterious absence. With Rick leaving, Daryl had to step up and evolve into a more layered and commanding character. Now it seems Carol might be readying to take Michonne's leadership spot. That is, if we're reading into the Season 10 premiere correctly. Lines We Cross contains some tremendous moments between Carol and Daryl that really remind you how solid and true their friendship is. Last season, Carol checked in on Daryl in the woods and gave him Henry to watch over, but it all felt kind of awkward. There was a closeness but also a distance. Now, after losing Henry, and after the Whispers took a huge bite out of our heroes, Carol and Daryl seem freer, happier in a way. Their moments, along with a truly awesome set piece in the third act involving a lot of fire and walkers on fire, served as the best moments in the premiere. Now, no one will ever discount Carol's ability to kick ass and get things done, but she's only ever used these tactics as a last resort. But the final moments in Lines We Cross, and the overall potential of a maternal leader versus maternal leader showdown between Carol and Alpha, seems to steer us towards Carol shirking her usual patterns of reclusiveness for a more active role in avenging Henry's death. And it would make sense for Carol to lead this particular warpath, if that's where the show's heading, that is. After all, she burned a bunch of ex-saviors last year just for roughing Henry up a little bit. She for sure has a vengeful heart. Daryl does too. It's just a matter of them not feeding into their own worst instincts. Not to get too spoilery here, but we're diving into the story a few months later. It's business as usual for three remaining communities: Alexandria, Hilltop, and Oceanside. They're still actively preparing for battle in case Alpha and her horde of zombie skin wearers return to their territory. Then, while running some war drills on the beach, a startling discovery is made that may or may not signal the Whisperer's return. The actual larger philosophical discussions in Lines We Cross fall a bit flat. After a decade, it's really challenging to come up with new existential drama for our heroes. It's not exactly new territory, though it is nice to see some characters rise up like Aaron and show some new emotions.
Eric is dead. Jesus is dead. And I'm goddamn sick of being nice.
The best part of our heroes' current situation is that it forces them to truly evaluate how much they value peace and peace of mind. There's an enemy out there who may be back in their old stomping grounds, but everyone's been ordered not to cross that line. Then, when circumstances conspire to force our heroes to venture into the no-fly zone, we're left wondering if Alpha is the sort who will listen to reason or if she's just a shallow, spiteful monster.
What did I tell you about crossing my border? You have to be punished.
Some cool action pieces bookend a decent season opener featuring some great Carol Daryl moments and possibly the setup for a Carol versus Alpha showdown. As usual, some characters shine brighter than others. Judith, Negan, Aaron, and the legacies are all great. The show's philosophical discussions are also a bit dry 10 years in, but the guts and gore are still fresh. Very fresh. For more reviews, check out what we thought about The Irishman, or our review of Rambo: Last Blood. And for all things everything else, IGN.com.